break.
Hey, Bevcast.
I think we're live. I think we're actually live.
Backwards, I am talking.
I think we might actually be live.
Yeah, I got a notification on my phone. We may be live. I should sit up straight. Oh my God.
Look at that. We're on the internet. Holy shit, we've done things. Hooray. Target lady.
Here we are, friends. What hath we wrought? What hath
I got an email and everything. Holy shit. So. Oh, good. Yeah. Here's an email from Fidelity saying, you're fucked.
I got an email that's like, yeah, here's what's in your 401k. Don't open this.
Nothing.
Yeah. How about a bag of dicks?
We hate to tell you this, but you owe us $50,000.
Yeah.
We've done all the calculations. You owe us money now.
Drinking that Arizona to iced tea. What? God,
oh my God! Somebody tweet.
Are we tweeting? Are we doing this? I was just testing.
What exactly are we doing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're gonna be on the internet.
We're here and it's working. I figure we should do something.
That's
with
true. Like while the world is still cobbled together, barely.
All I see is you guys swearing in the chat.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
there's
that's
chat.
all that's happening in the chat.
There's chat. Fuck.
Yeah, that's what the chat is for.
I gotta go on the chat.
Swearing?
So I can pause the thing and still chat, right? Yes. Fuck this top chat. Give me live chat. I want it all.
We're about to find out.
I want it unfettered.
Woohoo!
All right.
Yeah. Did we even tell anyone we might be doing this? They're all probably like,
I posted it in the Discord.
Oh, well, yeah. There is a tweet. I guess I could tweet that. I can do
and I
that.
assume somebody. I don't really like Twitter. So.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
not my thing.
Me either. I
don't spend all day on it.
I assume some people have rang that motherfucking bell.
I would hope so. I didn't even lube my lips or anything. I was just like, we're going to the internet raw.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm not close enough to have to worry about plosives or smacky noises.
Bamfcast.
My microphone is all the way over.
Raw dogging the internet on a Thursday night. Bamfcast.
If this doesn't get us
out to the unprotected internet.
Yeah. I'll turn off my VPN and everything. I'm just like,
we got a straight pipe.
Yeah, straight pipe.
Oh, hell yeah.
A fat straight pipe to the internet.
Laying that straight pipe.
This is why people subscribe to us. 'Cause
I'm going to spit Coca-Cola all over my living room.
It's been 1 week since you spit Coca-Cola. Remember Guy Ritchie directed Rock and Roll? I don't know.
I hate you.
Thanks.
I like that I can. I got my hat collection out for virtual happy hour last week, so I can swap in any of my hats at any time.
Oh, there's gonna be costume changes. Holy shit!
I was not aware.
I didn't prepare, man. You've got to let a brother know.
I mean, I'm not wearing pants. But...
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
Well, good.
News at 11.
I'm wearing short pants.
That's why the
also
internet
known as
tunes in is
shorts.
because I make hot groove tube references. I'm not wearing pants. Film at 11.
Oh, I can quit Skype.
You can
Skype.
quit Skype.
Oh yeah, I should shut Skype.
Sure.
Wasting all that power.
Pew.
That
Look,
will improve.
I can make a little. I can make a mouse, interactive mouse. You can just play my own little laser pointer game.
Oh,
I'm gonna go over here to
I should probably
touch
pause
BJ for a little bit.
Stop touching me.
Come over here and touch Chuck's nose a little bit. A little bit of Mackie over here.
Stop it.
Okay, I'm done. Done mousing around. So,
So, what do we do every week?
We usually have a first half, but we're not going to do a first
yeah,
half.
I guess
are
I guess the first thing we should probably do is make a little disclaimer and say what we're doing and why this is this week's episode.
Should I start recording on my end?
I think everybody should start recording on their end. Yes.
Okay.
Are we supposed to synchronize it in some way,
Do
or
we
you
want
just?
to have like a synchronized part? Like
Well-
just say 3, 2, 1, record.
I don't think that's going to be accurate. I think we all just hit record, clap at the same time, and take that spike and line them up that way. Because I mean, not everyone's going to click and hit record, and their computer's going to start recording at the same speed. Like I don't think that
Yeah.
could be a good benchmark for like how to start.
Okay.
Jens
So just-
also says that he uses the so you're recording all of us on the Zoom. He uses their Skype call as a focus track, so you can line up the beginning and end for everybody. I don't know
It's
if
really what Chuck wants.
Yeah, what do you want, Chuck?
I just want to be able to make it work.
Tell us what you want, Chuck. What you really, really want.
Well, I mean, everybody can hit record whenever. That's not a problem. It's getting the sync of all of us clapping at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably just have to do 3, 2, 1 clap.
I mean, I think we all have just enough rhythm that we can clap at the same time. I just think the mechanism of the track recording start is not going to be accurate across 4 people.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Go
Yeah.
ahead and hit record whenever.
Right. And then we'll clap.
So I'm gonna hit record
use
on
that
my
line
garage
and just-
band.
Oh my God, I'm recording, Chuck. I
Please
see that
hold.
little bar
Just
going
Chuck?
across.
Oh my God.
My God.
I'm also recording.
I am also recording. Backwards, I am talking.
recording. Also, am I?
Okay, 3, 2, 1, clap.
Oh, wait.
No.
I think I overestimated our ability to have rhythm here. Countdown, clap.
So it's
What?
3, 2,
Hold
1
on.
clap, and we
Let's-
clap on clap.
Wait,
So do we?
let's be ready to actually do the show before we do that, so Chuck isn't stuck trimming 15 minutes of bullshit.
Sure.
That's every show. Have
I
you
just-
met us?
I just think like
Okay.
do we probably don't want to do like an intro because we're not doing a bad movie. That's kind of safe for making fun of the first half. So I think it just be like, hey, I'll do a solemn, hey, welcome to the Banffcast. Explain what we're doing and why it's only a second half, and kind of we might talk amongst ourselves about what we're going to do going forward, but we'll just have a soft open to this is the format for now, sort of thing, right?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay,
Yeah, quarantine special.
yeah. So all right, everyone ready to
Hang
clap? Get your
Nope.
hands rubbed. Oh, we're waiting for you to start recording. Hit record, Joe.
I started.
But it's okay.
Who's Joe?
Okay, I'm recording from the beginning again.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
It was awful.
It was.
It was.
Let's try one more time. 3, 2, 1.
Or we just go,
Uh,
wow. That's actually on the Audacity. It is a big, just purple blob.
how about this?
Okay.
We all do just an oscillating wave noise, and you could just as we all, because we can harmonize Omega Cop style. That we can do, and then when it ends, it's it's about to be silence, and it all syncs. Right?
Right.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, our claps are way off, so
We could always do the we could try the idle thumbs countdown from 10, 10, 9,
8,
8. And you're right. Yeah, I know the numbers. But on 7, Harlow goes in. On I start at 10, 10, 9, and then 8 Harlow comes in. 7, 6, Chuck comes in. 5, 4, Mackie comes in, and we 3, 2, 1 together. Does that make sense? Like I start counting in
Why
rhythm.
is this so hard?
I'm sorry. It just Chuck's laughing is now making me laugh.
Oh, I like it. Let's do it.
So you're just saying yeah, okay, whatever. I'm gonna miss my cue, but it's fine. I'll just drink more bourbon.
Or not. Whatever. That's
I don't know. It's fine.
We don't even need a clap. We can just go and you'll get it.
Yes. Ah.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Chuck cannot handle this at all. Like, look at him. He's broken. He's a broken man.
Let's get the Hootie Magooners on 3. 3, 2, 1. Hootie Magooners.
this is awful.
Yeah, we're idiots. Chuck, you're just going to have to figure it out, man.
I'll match it to the live stream audio and sync it from that.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna hit record then.
So,
Once again.
I don't know why I've just been recording. Just record. Keep recording.
All right. Well, then we'll just do the 10, 9, 8 countdown. Each one do pick a number. Somebody, because we're all recording now, right?
Yes.
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 Yep. All right. 10.
What?
Oh, you wanted to do it like that.
Yeah. Who cares?
Well, then go
See,
then go
I love it.
clockwise.
It's gonna be
Mackie
preserved
starts and
on
goes
YouTube.
clockwise. That goes Mackie, Chuck, me, BJ. Clockwise. Everyone
I
take
think,
everyone
I
take
think
it.
our layouts are different.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, on the
Bottom
live
right
stream.
corner.
Then
on
I'm
mine.
going for the one on the live stream, which is
I
mine.
don't have that up.
Like I
Give
just
me a
said,
moment.
it's Mackie, Chuck, me, BJ. If you're going clockwise.
Okay. All right. If you guys are ready, 10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3.
2.
1. Aren't we all supposed to say like 3, 2, 1 together or something like that? Wasn't that the idea?
I don't know.
Fuck, I don't
This is
know.
horrible.
This
Let's
is
try
the
that
worst
again,
thing we've
where
ever
we
done.
say 3, 2, 1 together.
Okay.
That's great. Mackie, you start.
All right. 3.
Start from 10.
Ten,
9,
8.
7.
6.
Did you forget what came next? How much have you motherfuckers been drinking?
Just a little. 10.
9.
Hang on. Sorry.
I don't know why you keep stopping your audio. Just let it roll.
I've recorded 95 minutes now.
Eh.
Go.
10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1. Record. Yeah, there we go.
That was fucking it. Stop talking. That's when we need to start the show.
Oh. He has a point to start at. Go for it, man.
I'm good. Let's just go.
Yeah.
All right, and welcome to the Bamfcast.
Hey!
Bamcast.
As you may notice, if you're joining us on the live stream or if you're listening to the audio, you can probably tell we have now gone into full quarantine mode. We are not in the same room, and thusly, we are just kind of doing to flow with the different format. We're also just kind of eschewing the bad movie of the week. We cannot get together to watch a movie. I think part of what we really enjoy about that is that we are communally either watching the movie for the first time or rewatching it for the first time in a long time. And we just don't have the systems in place to try to have a communal spirit experience afar yet and watch the movie together. So just to get something out there, we're going to just kind of catch you up, kind of do basically what we normally do in the second half and talk about the movies, television, things that we've been watching, just to get you some content to help you get through all of this bullshit. So that being said, I'm
Right.
Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
Yeah. I figure you probably know that if you're joining us at this point. I don't know if we're assigning an episode number to this. I think it's just a quarantine special. I think that's what
Yeah,
the only
Quarantine 001.
yeah quarantine episode number 1.
Episode 1.
So I guess we'll just kind of start off. I think we've all been watching plenty of movies, plenty of television. We generally start with the newest one, but I figure we'll just kind of have a natural back and forth. I don't know if someone's super excited to talk about something they've seen in the past week or so, but go for it.
It's the newest thing. It's everything. It's what everybody's talking about on the internet. I have watched The Tiger King.
I have watched
most of the Tiger.
I've watched
King.
the first episode only, but I had to know what it was because everyone was talking about it. And I was like, I kind of forgot about old Joe Exotic because that seems like a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago. Yeah. When he was running for president, and then 2 years ago when he was running for governor. Boy, is that a show about awful people doing awful things. And
Yeah.
I think everybody knows the premise of it. Like, Joe Exotic is this guy with a tiger zoo out in Wynwood, Oklahoma, and he's basically doing a bunch of illegal shit. And he has a nemesis in Tampa, Florida, who is basically trying to get him shut down and sue him into oblivion. Man, like I said, it is just what 6-8 episodes of the most awful people you've ever seen in your entire life, doing awful things, and abusing animals.
Yeah, and it's 7 episodes of you can't make any of it up. Like, you would not believe it if it was in a movie. You'd be like, this is bullshit. But it's not. Like, that's what's completely insane about it. It all happened.
Yeah. So the strangest thing to me is that it seems like somebody thinks that they can make a fictional television show based on this. And that show is going to be ass because there is no way you can make anything weirder or more convoluted than anything anybody did in any single 2-minute segment of that episode of the show. Like,
Yeah, and I mean they're characters. They're all characters that you can't duplicate. You know, it's like I think it was at some point like Jay and Silent Bob, like people talked about having to read to be Jay in those movies. At some point they wanted to like recast, like the studio was like, no, you need to read for Jay's part. And people are like, why the fuck are we here? Like, why would we do that? And it's kind of the same sort of thing where it's like, who's going to play Joe Exotic? You know, everyone's like, oh, Danny McBride could do it. But it's like, no, actually he could not.
no.
And same with the rest of them, you know, like Doc, like that's one of those people who is always on. Like, I don't even think he has a real personality anymore. He has become the personality that he shows on that. Like, I don't think he's ever like lets his guard down and becomes the real person ever.
No. Well, all of these people have been playing their characters for their entire lives. And for most of them, it's 30, 40, 50 plus years. And you just can't capture that in an actor's performance with people like this, because there's no way that you get that much depth of character. Even though they might be shallow people, they have this entire breadth of character. And plus the situations, like, what can you make up that is crazier than like gay tiger sex cult, polyamorous, murder for hire, missing husband plus Las Vegas sleazy douchebag? Like,
Yeah.
you would get exhausted trying to write any of these characters a story that is anything better than the show.
I mean, just how certain people die off. You know, like not to
Yeah.
kind of spoil anything, but there's like certain characters in that show are not there by the end, and it's just wait, that happened? Like how? Like it again, if it was on a normal scripted TV show, you'd be like, the fuck ever, man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that is so abrupt as well. Like,
Oh yeah.
and they
Yeah, there was a point where I was like, I guess this person just didn't want to participate in things. And then you get to one of the later episodes, you're like, oh, okay. Jesus.
right. But man, is it a ride? Like, I I started it on Monday night and I had to watch the whole fucking thing because I just had to see what weird, crazy shit happened next.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah, and I mean, it's very much them trying like it feels like a lot of trying to capture that making a murderer stuff that that happened a few years ago, like kind of that zeitgeist stuff. But this one, there's a lot less ambiguity about stuff. At least to me, it's it's not as. I mean,
there,
I wouldn't want to say making a murder was evenly presented because it was very much presented from one point of view pretty exclusively. Whereas this one kind of jumps around a bit, but you can tell who their favorites are and you can tell kind of what they believe, so to speak.
yeah, they're pushing that. They're pushing one side pretty hard, and I can imagine if you've basically lived. Everybody's seen the memes. Like they're basically saying that they're following Joe's logic of Carol Baskins killed her husband, but
Mm-hmm.
if if you live with basically someone for basically 4 years, you're going to hear their side of the story, and you're probably going to lean towards that anyway. So I can understand that bias, but it's still pretty heavily like it's pretty heavy handed with that bias.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting to me that I mean they're all basically the same, and it's one of the very first quotes that comes up in the show, like maybe the second or third person that speaks in voiceover basically says, all right, there's people who like monkeys, there's people who collect, you know, farm animals, whatever. And he's like, but cat people, they're all pieces of shit. Like that is like the ethos of
Yep.
that whole entire show stated in the first 2 minutes of it. And it plays out for sure because it's like, all right, I think the interesting part of it is it's presented like some of these people are way more hypocritical than others about what they're doing, what they're, the way they've decided to live this life that they've created for themselves. And, some of them are just very honest about it. And it feels like others are not. And I think that's why the backlash has happened so much because Joe Exotic is very much I hate to put it this way, but like a Trump like figure in that he's like, hey man, I'm a piece of shit. What do you care? Whereas others are like, no, I'm not a piece of shit. I'm above all this. And it's like, nah, you're kind of a piece of shit. And they point that out pretty specifically by the end of the show, where they're, a lot of the guys are like, hey, this is happening here too. Like the exact same thing we're doing, they're doing there. They just got a different way of doing it. So it's entertaining, but it's also like to me, like it's weird. It's like there's become a backlash all where people are like, yeah, it's just make fun of redneck show, isn't it? And it's like, I guess, but it's also all these people. I think like this is kind of like their American dream. They're like, this is all I know how to do, man. This is the only thing I'm good at. So I'm gonna do it. And then there's this one person who wants to stop me from doing it, and fuck them. So
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird because there are no heroes in that show for sure.
Yeah, it was really strange. Like there's been a strange like milkshake duck cycle on pretty much everybody because when it first came out, everybody was like, "Yeah, fucking Joe Exotic, woohoo!" All these, all this sort of lionizing of this guy,
Yeah.
Tigerizing.
tigerizing, ligerizing.
No, there are plenty of lions on the show too.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I don't believe you.
You think he's lying?
Yeah, I do. Roar.
But yeah, so they lionized the internet lionized Joe Exotic for like 3 days, and then 3 or 4 days, and I think pretty much by the time I had finished watching it on Monday night, everybody had flipped over to like, no, actually, Joe Exotic's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a
he might-
charismatic piece of shit, but he's still a piece of shit.
Yeah. And then
Like someone
actually,
else we know.
me? Are you talking about me?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, everybody in the whole show is a piece of shit. They're like two guys that are pretty much victims, maybe three people that are basically like victims of these particular cults of personality, and everybody else is just awful. But you can't stop watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
It's a crazy window into this world that exists right around the corner from you, and you just didn't realize that it was like this in America. You know, it's they point out there are more tigers in American zoos like this, private zoos, than there are out in the wild at this.
Yep.
And and some of them have a point. They're like, "Hey, I'm breeding tigers. Tigers are in danger. You want me to stop?" And it's like, well, yes, you're doing this. It's a good thing, but you're also just basically selling them to people who are like, yeah, I want a tiger. So I don't know.
I think
It's weird. I wonder how it would do if everyone weren't stuck at home right now.
Oh, I think it'd do gangbusters.
Do you think it would still be the same thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
It's that
One
kind
of
of
those-
thing that just
it's that
grabs
kind
you.
of-
Comes out of nowhere and grabs you. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah. So, my final thought, I think, on the Tiger King is, if you are fascinated by the Tiger thing and also like what we do, you should watch Roar. Watch Roar and look up the history of Tippi Hedren's life, basically.
Yeah.
Or just look at the poster of Roar, and then you will have to watch Roar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that coming out on Blu-ray or something late?
I think it already did, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's actually over on the shelf, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hit its it's hit its point. You go on Letterboxd now, it's like, oh yeah, man, check out Roar. And I feel like we get to be hipsters about it because we're like, dude, we were there like 6 years ago. Thanks. Probably more than that, actually. It was a long time ago we watched Roar.
I bet you can't even name like 3 of Roar's other albums.
Yeah.
Name 7 of the lines that were in Roar. I dare you. I dare you.
Yeah. But to me, it's interesting that I watched McMillions and then this, which is basically both about people in America, poor ass people just trying to get rich and kind of not necessarily doing it the legal way. So they're interesting sides of that coin. I think McMillions is a little better, even though it kind of fails by the end of it, to be honest. Like, I feel like that last episode is kind of a letdown of McMillions, but Tiger King is just like that. It's so much higher a level of just insanity that they're both definitely worth watching. But man,
Yeah, I'll have to give McMillions a watch. That sounds like
and they
right up my alley.
Yeah, they both work because they've coaxed really crazy interviews, like just crazy characters. Obviously, McMillions is a lot less than the people where, okay, this woman might have killed her husband and fed him to tigers. There's nothing like that in McMillions, but it's still, it's still got that level of people like, wow, like, I can't believe these interviews are happening.
Well, I have a movie that's not a Netflix series. If you want to hear about it,
Sure.
Fine.
I'm not. All right, so I have newer movies, but I'm going based on enthusiasm this time because our format's all out of whack, and I'd rather talk about this first.
Who cares?
Yeah.
No rules.
So I watched 1917, the World War I thing made by Sam Mendes and director of photography Roger Deakins and all of that. Man, like that is such a 5-star movie, no-brainer thing to me in an infinite number of ways. It's honestly one of the most visually captivating movies I think I've ever seen. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that if you have any passing interest in like filmmaking at all, it's just to watch some of these things unfold. You can't help like you don't. It doesn't necessarily do to dwell on like too much on the how did they do it. Just kind of get you have to ride this fine line of appreciating what they're doing, cinematography wise and everything else wise, but don't let it distract you from the experience too. I mean, it's hard to explain. Like to me, it only a couple times that I just go like, wait, what? kind of moments, like camera tricks. I know this is one of those things. I know Chuck's not a huge fan of the movie, but it's kind of one of those things where the first time I saw Contact, and there is that shot that kind of just goes from like outside and it just drills in through a window and everything. And I know it's like a CG window, but it's just kind of one of those things like for just a minute you're like, wait, what? Like what just happened and all of this stuff kind of thing. Like, and just imagine a whole movie full of that kind of just like
or where she's running to the mirror,
right,
and then suddenly reaches out and opens it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like that shot is pretty fucking amazing. I mean, you say what you will about the movie overall, like that shot is pretty fantastic. And this movie's just like full of stuff like that. That like if you stop and dwell on it, you're like, how did they do that and not kill people like that were making the movie and stuff like that? But it's just it's fascinating and wonderful. And I just don't. It's strange that like we had such a glut of World War II movies that World War One movies, despite earlier when it was still kind of like, hey guys, we've been here before kind of tales. It was, we've just kind of mostly skipped over that as a genre. Like we were just like, no, World War II. Here's all the movies are about that. World War One was
World War II. You know who the villains are, like immediately. World War One. It's kind of like, wait, who are we fighting? Who? The good
Hun.
guy? Yeah.
The Hun. The Kaiser.
Yep. Nature. I mean, one of the biggest enemies of World War One.
Flu.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. What in the living fuck is my cat doing?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Like as soon as we started recording, my dog decided to start chugging water bowl like literally right next to here. So you'll probably hear that in the beginning.
Sorry. She was just going apeshit in the window over there for some reason. Probably a deer. There's a deer been hanging around my house for a while. But anyway, keeps coming back.
Quarantine that you can.
My quarantine deer.
Meat.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, but I say all that to say, be marveled by the movie, but try not to get lost in the how. At least on the first viewing, just occasionally your brain will just go like, "What?" but please try to sink back into the movie because I don't. I've only watched it once, but I feel like this is one of those things that I will come back to, and then I can revisit and go like, all right, let's think about this. What's CG? How did they trick this? I know it's not all one shot. There's plenty of ways darkness and things like that going around people where it's like that's clear where it's a seam in another take or something like that. The old rope tricks and things like that that have been around for years. But it's just watch it. And also I think my last thought, and we're already on the tick board for saying something about current events and possibly politics, but here's kind of like my biggest takeaway is I'm watching this movie and here's events that were happening just a little over 100 years ago, right? And people that were like living in fucking ditches and sleeping next to dead bodies of people and horses and everything else. Horrible, horrible, horrible war that our possibly great grandparents we're in, and we can't stay the fuck inside. That's our fucking that's our battle. Fuck you. And now I'm done.
Well said.
All right then.
Stay the fuck inside.
Oh,
you have Netflix. You have us. We're here on the internet. People are providing you content. You're not fighting a goddamn war. Stay the fuck inside.
Well said.
Okay. Now I'm done. Back to fun and movies.
Yay.
Yeah. I've seen two 2020 movies.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks to the fact that you can watch them at home now because can't go to a theater. So
That's where we live
uh,
now.
yeah, first, because I was following Harlow's advice there. I watched Invisible Man from the director of Upgrade, and that is a good movie. It's not a great movie. Um, I like technically, perfectly executed. Like everything works in that movie, but I think the problem, and I'm getting nitpicky. I mean, I'll say that off the bat. I really like the movie, but you never see Cecilia Elizabeth Moss's character as anything but a victim throughout the course of the movie. Like you never see like what she was before she met Adrian, who's the bad guy of the movie, basically. The abusive boyfriend she leaves in the beginning, and you never get to see her as anything but a victim. So it comes off really strange, like when her life is getting destroyed, and it's basically she's being isolated from friends and family and all this, and it's kind of like you basically only get one scene of these things happen, where it's just like goes to visit the sister, and sister's like, nope, we're done, fuck you forever, and you're like, wait, but you wouldn't even talk about this, that sort of and I think that hurts it a little bit, because I mean, I understand like the filmmaking is funneling you towards, all right, this is what she's going through, this is her point of view, nobody believes her about any of this, and I think there's a point where it could have done better with more ambiguity. It's a bit like The Witch in that way, where it's like once you know specifically what's happening, you're like, okay, well, this is where this has to go, as opposed to like, and I'm trying not to get too spoilery about it because I know people want to see it, but I just wish there was more ambiguity about what was happening early on. But I think they kind of tipped their hand a little early about it. But yeah, it's still super well executed. I mean, like the first 10 minutes is like a perfect horror movie thing. It's like there's so much tension, so much suspense, and they hold some of those shots for so long of her just like basically trying to get out of the boyfriend's house, and things just keep going wrong, and it works super well. And then there's a whole scene in the hospital later on that's practically an action scene that's just like, okay, this is some good shit right here. um, but yeah, then they get to the third act, and man, they just kind it feels like they're like, all right, wrap the shit up, got to get this done. And then it's like, okay. And it just goes a little too quick for my liking. But I mean, I know you loved it, Harlow. I mean, I'm assuming you kind of didn't have any of those reservations that I had with it. And I'm wondering a little bit if I was like overhyped for it, because I know you and a few other people were like, no, this is like easy 5 stars. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a 5-star movie, but like something like 1917 is a 5-star movie in a different way. Like
Yeah.
it's a weird. That's why I would prefer something like a 10 1 out of 10 kind of
Yeah.
style rating, because it's like, all right, no, something like 1917 is something that I believe may be viewed many years in the future as a thing, and this is just like, no, this is a taut sort of quasi remake.
So,
We did
well-executed
we did
thriller.
Hollow Man before. It's like this, this is retreaded territory. So is it the same versus like an original epic sweeping holy shit, we're gonna pull out all the stop cinema thing? It's movies are weird. We all assign the same grading system, but we're not necessarily in the same classes. It's strange.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would definitely say like Elizabeth Moss,
Yeah.
I'd have trouble seeing anybody else playing that role as well as she does.
Yeah.
Like selling this character's just decline. Because I mean, this girl gets put through the ringer in this movie, and it's just straight ride downhill the entire time. And I think she sells it really, really, really well. And she's one of those actors who's not afraid to look just terrible by the end of the movie. But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely worth watching. It's definitely super well executed. I just I think maybe coming off Upgrade, and then people going, yeah, this is fucking awesome movie, like that kind of it's probably that whole like that pushed me back a little bit from.
All right.
And also, don't try and watch it at home in a room with any light whatsoever, because some of those dark scenes are just like, no, you're not going to see anything. Like you will see your own reflection in the screen because it's too freaking bright.
I mean, anything Bloomhouse or Blumhouse, whatever it is, I don't even bother trying during the day. Like it's, I just know that going in.
Yeah.
Is it Bloom or Blum? Bloom?
I think Bloom.
It's Blum.
Blum?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Rhymes
I'm
with Blum.
deferring to Chuck because, he's Captain Horror over there.
I had to research it.
Yeah, Blum. Okay. Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Blumhouse. Okay.
Okay.
Thankfully, one day someone asked him on Twitter how to
Oh,
pronounce his name, so
good.
I was able to
Blum like a plum.
find out.
All right. Well, I teased a little bit that I was watching other Ladies in Trouble movies, and I was going to save a pair of them for this week because, I just felt like I had too much of a theme going. So, and I feel like these two pair well together. One of them is, give me a second. One of them is The Hunt, and it's the newer movie, so I figure I'm gonna talk about it first. This is the one that was long delayed, and then more delayed because it couldn't come out in a theater. I think maybe it did for a week, maybe I think, and then they were like, "Oops, nobody go to the theater anymore." I think that might have been one of those, but it's one of the crop of like, let's just put this out on digital. It's something. It's been about a week since I've. It's been 1 week or slightly more since I watched that movie. But I still really haven't like fully formed an opinion on it. That's the strangest thing about it. I'll say this: he's not the sole writer, creator, or anything to do with this, but this has Damon Lindelof on it, involved in it. I believe is partial writer. Man, what a person you never know what you're going to get from, because Watchmen is, I know Chuck loved Watchmen start to finish, and I'm not knocking Watchmen. I'm not here to do that, but like Watchmen has some serious peaks and valleys in my opinion. Like that whole series is like one big ramp up to the center part of the season into like, okay, maybe it's not as good by the end to me, because like the middle part of that season is like golden age of television shit, and like, and then there's other parts. It's like, really, so that show is very uneven, like his entire career to me, because like at the end of the day, I'm sort of like, okay, because if you don't know, I think you need to know a little bit about The Hunt in case you don't. It's basically everything you would think stereotype wise, flip it on its head. So like these extremists that are so incredibly politically correct are the ones that are like kidnapping the so-called deplorables and having basically a most dangerous game kind of thing with them. Like throw them out in the woods and say, survive the night, you survive, otherwise we're going to murder you kind of thing. And so you've got these horrible racist conspiracy theory redneck people running around that are like you're kind of feeling sorry for, and they mostly just show how awful they are throughout the course of the movie. And then you've got these supposedly also awful people over here that are doing things, all the wrong things, maybe for the right reasons or not even. It's just very unclear and muddy. I mean, it's just one of those things that it just feels so nihilistic and out of place, and it doesn't even feel satirical. It feels like it's writing this middle line of just like, I think everyone's an asshole kind of thing. Like one of those like just the kind of opinion that infuriates me today. I'm not saying pick a side, because I believe too many things in our society are this tribal, black and white, A, B, this team, that team, our country, your country, invisible lines bullshit thing. But this movie is just like, I feel like takes it just a step too far. So like it's that internet libertarian, I'm not going to pick a side, everyone's a piece of shit philosophy, nihilistic thing.
It's a problem everyone has with South Park now.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like, I mean, South Park's just kind of gotten that, like, we're just,
everybody's crappy, and if you care, you're a piece of shit.
Kind of, yeah. And it's like, I don't know if it's sentiment, but that's kind of was my takeaway by the end, sort of. It's just this weird thing, and it just kind of didn't work for me. I didn't hate it, but I also was like, I would never like give it anything more than like 3.5 stars at this point. I couldn't. Like, it's fairly well, if you're just in it for like a most dangerous game, I don't, I am a nihilistic person and I don't care and I don't have a side or even pretend to even get close to a side. Just from a gore standpoint of like watching a Most Dangerous Game thing, there's some shocking, well done things. So just from a strictly movie making perspective, I couldn't give it lower than that because I'm not one of those people that's just going to say my opinion invalidates your movie making skills, so kind of thing. Because I'm not.
You didn't want to iTunes review it,
Right? Yeah, it's just I see what you're doing. I'm not sure you accomplish it, and what you are now presenting me just feels a little nihilistic and like wishy washy and like everybody's kind of shitty. That's what it kind of ends with, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I enjoyed that when it was all said and done. So I figured a good thing to pair that with is I also watched Ready or Not, a very similar like. Let's fuck with a person that has no idea what's about to be in store for them.
Yeah, that was from last summer.
Yeah,
Right?
late in the fall, I want to say. Maybe I don't remember exact time. I could be
But
way
it's
off.
basically the girl who's going to get married and then is not.
Yeah, there you go. Chuck has a copy of it, so I'm going to be extremely vague. Chuck, don't worry. It's basically here's a super rich family. We invented board games. It doesn't say like we're Parker Brothers, Milton Bradley. It's just like we invented some board games and we made a lot of money off of board games. And our family is all about games. So as part of our weird family tradition, you have to play a game at midnight all together, and you pick a random card, and one card out of I don't know if it's 52 or whatever is basically we're going to stalk through the house and murder you. And they call it hide and seek, but it's like hide and murder if we find you. And that's basically the plot of the movie. So it's just, you've kind of got people going like, I don't know, I don't feel right about this. Or, like the guys, like nobody in the family is like, oh yeah, I can't fucking wait to murder. It's just like, if you pull that card, it's like, well, family tradition says we got to fucking murder you. So it's like, you've kind of got all these characters going like, I don't know if it's right. Should we? But ultimately you're like, yeah, well, fuck it, murder. That's what we do. So it's a ride. Like strangely, I enjoyed it more than The Hunt. I think it's a more enjoyable, just, it has, it's not necessarily trying to say anything at any point in time to me. Like, social stature, it's kind of a classic, like thriller slasher horror-esque survival thing. It doesn't really have an agenda, despite this being in a uber rich family. That's not really money is not their motivation. This isn't like they get their kicks from murdering people.
So you're saying it's just normal person thrown in shitty situation.
Pretty much, like I said, and there's some like the family's like, because they're doing all these things like it's grand tradition kind of thing. So it's like they're using ancient bows and arrows and things that were around when this was first started. So it's like, and everybody's like, can we use our security cameras? Because this would be a whole lot easier if we just flip on all the security cameras we got in the house. And they're like, no, not.
But that's cheating.
Tradition. there was no security cameras when great grandpa Bradley was around. Again, it's not one of them. It's a made up family, but yeah. But yeah, it's a fun little thing. I think Hugo Weaving's niece is particularly good in it. Like I don't know that I'd seen her in anything, but a lot of people are like saying discount horror Margot Robbie, but I think it's just because like they're both blonde, statuesque Australians, so they're like, yeah, she's Margot Robbie because that's all we know. I don't see a huge resemblance between the two of them, but yeah, but yeah, it's in
the promotional materials.
Sure. It's weird because like I think in the still picture she looks more like oh my god, just went on my head. Jim from The Office's wife, Emily Blunt. Like I think she looks more like Emily Blunt in the still picture than Margot Robbie. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I found that one more enjoyable just because like it had more of a cabin in the woods esque vibe to it of just like, yeah, it's a little wacky and there's some horrific violence, but we're not necessarily trying to say anything. It's just like you've seen a haunted house like shitty situation movie before, right? Maybe there's witchcraft kind of things. We don't know. Like we don't know what the motivations are. Spooky. Yeah.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. I think that one's worth watching. And I will.
Okay.
I yield the floor.
Yeah. I have another 2020 unless somebody else has.
Man,
no.
You're
I can only talk about my during the workday rewatches of things. So
I've got a couple of things, but they're quick and old. So.
Yeah, I've got another
right.
2020, but I just
Like
finished talking for a long time. So
Yeah. I guess I'll just get it out of the way then. Watched Emma, the one with Anna Taylor-Joy, and then Bill Nighy, I guess, is her dad, and then basically I don't think anybody else I recognize from any ever. Um, yeah, that's another adaptation of Emma. That's pretty much the same thing as all the rest of them. Like, watch Clueless instead.
You don't have to tell
I
me
mean,
twice.
yeah. I guess it's just like, I mean, it's everyone's very charismatic. Everything's really well done, and they have like, I don't want to. I feel bad putting it this way, but they just have a lot of weird looking people in that movie. Like, they cast people that are just like a little odd looking, and not just like, all right, here's a Hollywood beautiful cast, and here you go. And like, what is it? Yara Greyjoy is one of the ladies in it, and it's just weird seeing her as a normal lady, in like 18th century Britain or whatever. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's like, yeah, you kind of know that story by now, and that's what you're gonna get, And it's kind of like it's Emma is very much a parents' movie story anyway, where it's like, yeah, there's some conflict, but not really, and things kind of work out by the end, and everyone's happy, and yeah, and then it's over. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure I've said it before, but I'd watch Anna Taylor-Joy in most movies. She's got a weird charisma that I appreciate, and yeah, having her play one of my favorite comic characters in a movie that is never, ever, ever coming out is kind of a bummer. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Emma, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all right. It's just not doing anything unique, and that's a tough thing when it's like you've done this story times film now, and you're not doing anything new with it. That's kind of a bummer.
They have to make versions of it sporadically.
Yeah, did they lose the rights? I don't know how. It's not like Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's like King Arthur and Peter Pan and Robin Hood and Tarzan. There just has to be one every 7 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point where it's just like, you got to do something different with it. Like, okay, the costumes look cool. They're brighter than they like. All right, good. But otherwise, why make this movie? Like if you're not going to put your stamp on it, what's the point? So, yeah. It's all right. It's not worth a $20 rental. Let me tell you.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Speaking of something that's not new at all, and in fact, maybe kind of old, I watched.
Excellent segue. We still got it.
I watched Bad Boys for Life. Woo! They're old now.
Nice. They are. So, how was it?
Man, like that is a movie that like it took a while for me to finally kind of go, all right. Like the tone of the movie, I was very unsure of for the longest time, because I was like, are you doing the jokey like latter-day Lethal Weapons thing, or because it gets real sincere about the whole 1 week from retirement cop thing, like super sincere for a little bit, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is taking a strange turn. Like, I'm not expecting this from a Bad Boys. And then it just kind of whips back around to like exactly what you needed for motivation and whatnot. And you're like, all right, fucking Bad Boys, let's do this for life. Like, yeah, I'm in. Like, it keeps the right Michael Bay-ness from it. Like, it looks like a Michael Bay thing. Like, they must have just been like, here's the film settings I use on my cameras and all this. This is how you make a movie look like a Michael Bay movie, even though I'm not going to direct it. He does have a little something to do with it, but yeah, it's just like, it looks just like that. It's like, but most of the humor works better than when it was under him, because I think we family said he doesn't.
Humor works better once Michael Bay's gone. Are you sure?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, some of it. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a weird thing where the humor in Bad Boys totally works for me, like throughout both of them. And despite any other movie, and it's just the two of them. It has nothing to do with Michael Bay. It's just like I think they were able to sneak enough good past Michael Bay's poor sense of humor that it works.
Yeah.
That like
They're
when
probably able to ad lib enough humor into it.
because they each were coming off of like just enough success they could be like, no, Mike, here's how this is gonna be funny, whereas everyone else was like, this is how you do it, and they were like, okay, I will say the terrible line and point up to Transformer balls and things like that, so despite me being in fucking Coen Brothers movies, so but it works. Like at the end of the day, I feel like Bad Boys for Life works. The strangest thing, and I had to put this in my letterbox review. I don't think it's a spoiler, but they hint an opening for more, which is sort of like, you waited how long for this one, and it took this long to get them together to do this, and you already just used the title for what should have been the one after. Why would you set up for more? Like that just feels like, figure out what you're doing before you go there, kind of thing. Like if you were thinking maybe if it does okay, we'll make more, then don't steal your title for the next one. That makes no sense. That it's a weird nitpick. It's sort of like it's gonna go, if they make another one, it'll be the Now You See Me Again thing for me. I'll be like, fuck you, fuck you. Just like no one asked for another Bad Boys, but you fucked it up.
No, it'll be Bad Boys for Life 2.
Bad Boys. Well, maybe this time it could just be Bad Boys for Life, because it was FOR in this one. So
they can just make it Bad Boys Forever.
Maybe, yeah. A little heart on like the somewhere on there.
Yeah.
Like in the O.
Or they could call it Bad Boys 10 Your Seatbelts.
Oh, man. Woo! There it is.
I'm glad somebody thought of that one.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, you should definitely do
it
that. Yeah. Wait, did you just think of that?
It's my completely original thought that came from me and me alone.
Wow.
I am the first and will be the last person to ever make that joke.
Pretty good.
But you should watch Bad Boys for Life. Like like I said, it might take you a little while, and man, I hate to say it, Martin like hit a treadmill. My man he was not in Bad Boy shape. He's not even to play like the Danny Glover character. It's just like, because he's suddenly the one that's like, I'm old, and it's like, well, yeah, like that you like run a little bit, man.
Mix in a salad.
Yeah. Go eat over at Usil Kalesery. I don't know. Kalesy. What's his thing? What's his trademark?
I got a couple things.
Uh-oh.
Chuck.
Let me sneak in a segue.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
all right.
Speaking of Martins, Steve Martin in the Three Amigos, which I watched last week. Three Amigos is still an amazing and almost perfect movie, and every joke fucking rips. But it's only streaming for like a $3.99 for an HD copy on YouTube or whatever, because it's MGM and they haven't figured that out yet, I guess. But
right,
pull Three Amigos out of your DVD closet and watch it.
Okay. I should watch that. I haven't watched it since the 80s.
It's so fucking good.
Chuck, we're just going to mention movies, and then Chuck's going to turn around to the boards and be like, "You mean this one?"
It's the worst YouTube video.
For those not looking at the live stream, Chuck is like the only one who actually has the proper YouTube background for people who review movies. The rest of us are like, "Yeah, I got a wall."
Yes,
it's not.
I'm just podcasting from the void behind me.
Mine, I'm like, we spent a lot of time putting this.
Got a green screen.
Yeah, I gave the guy off. The guy that programs in the fucking Matrix behind me. I need more guns, all of them.
My house, we're like, yeah, we spent a lot of time installing behind me.
But. Yeah, you're fucking wainscoting over there.
Yeah. But yeah, Chuck, he's got the wall of movies behind him. I remember that wall, and then I sold it all on eBay for pennies on a dollar. Yep.
Yeah, I see your Herbies. I see your Herbie. You like Herbies, Chuck?
I bought a Herbie.
Yeah.
You can't have your Herbie out on YouTube.
Where's your Alce?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring him out for the next one.
Yeah, bring out the Alce. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some hot Alf you got up there.
Be sure
Little
to
Christmas
sterilize the Alps first, though. You don't know where they've been.
That's true.
Yeah.
I should
So
watch them.
anyway, getting back to actual audio stuff.
Right.
What'd you watch, Chuck?
So I had a weird marathon of things. I watched 2000's Shaft.
Oh, the one with Samuel L. Jackson.
Correct. Yeah. That was
Batman.
a movie. Right. That was a movie that when it came out, I was like, nope, I don't want this. I don't know what the point of this is. This is not good. I don't know why they made this. 20 years later, I'm like, I like this a lot. I want this all the time. This is great. I don't know what it is about time that has been favorable to that movie, but 2000 Shaft is amazing. It is a lot of fun. It's kind of bolstered by the fact that Christian Bale is playing the piece of shit son of a New York real estate tycoon who is also a piece of shit. And he gets fucking wrecked.
I like it.
So that's cathartic in a lot of ways, but it's a good movie. We have dogs on the live stream.
Sorry.
This is why you should be on the live stream. We got Dags.
Yeah.
Conan
Then I
just
watched-
saying hello.
I watched 2019's Shaft.
And
That
keep
movie's
us
not
in
good.
suspense, man.
There,
That is a bad movie, as in Stay Away.
it's fine. It's weird.
Is it
It's
Chuck
like
fine?
it's like they took the 2000 Shaft character and time traveled him to 2020 and is just like, okay, now make fun of millennials, Shaft. And it's like, oh, this is the worst. Like Shaft is suddenly a piece of shit. He's just old and fat and a piece of shit.
Boo.
And he kind of stays that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy who made that was not the right guy to make that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wasn't it Tim Story that made it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's
it
not
very
the
much
right guy to
feels-
make much of anything.
It feels like Ride Along. It feels like another Ride Along movie.
Mhm.
And they just put Shaft in there. So,
Shaft along.
yeah.
A
I don't know.
long
It felt
shaft.
bad.
That's
Stop.
And I also watched Proud Mary, which, as you probably all recall, we had high hopes for Proud Mary. And then everyone said, no, Proud Mary is not what you want it to be. It's not what we want it to be.
Those people were right.
They were absolutely right.
Mm.
It is, I think a guy called it aggressively average. Like it exceeds it being average.
Mhm.
So congratulations, I guess.
That sucks.
It's just every second of it, you're like, yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah, I've seen a movie like this. I know what this movie is. This is not surprising. And it has a bunch of names in the cast that they kill after like 7 seconds that they've been on camera. It's like, oh, Neil McDonough's in this movie. Oh no, he's gone. I think he's in the first Avenger longer than he is in this. And he's not in that very long at all. So I think that's all I got.
Yeah.
I don't got nothing else either.
Oh
All right.
shit. Let me look one more last time here.
Boy, that's not much for all the quarantining we've been doing.
Well, I've been
Yeah.
watching a whole lot of Seinfeld. I haven't finished it. I was gonna wait to finish it, but I will say this: being halfway through season 8, I've decided that if some kind of weird scenario happened where someone was like, pick one season of Seinfeld, the rest have to get deleted from the universe. It's sort of like my same answer. Like somehow that happened to the Friday the 13th. Then 6, kill all the others. It's fine. It's all you need is 6.
Yeah.
6 is everything you want in a Friday the 13th movie. Season 7 of Seinfeld. That's it. Like it's almost not everything, but like so much of what you are like, things you're going to think about Seinfeld are in season 7. It's kind of insane. The soup Nazi, the hot tub runner one, it's like the whole like George gets engaged to the envelopes thing. This is all in season 7. It's kind of crazy. like how many.
Is that the last Larry David season?
It might be. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think when the last time I talked about starting to watch it, someone asked if it like when did they stop doing the stand up bits. They toyed with not doing it around like in season 6 and 7. Like there would be certain episodes where they wouldn't have it at all, and then it like and so far I think in season 8 it's gone completely. So like it was weird because there was a bunch of episodes in 7 that didn't, and then it came back and I was like, yeah, wasn't that gone for a while? And then yeah, so it's yeah. I'm not knocking anything else on in any of the rest of Seinfeld because you would lose the Elaine dance and a bunch of other good ones that are not in season 7, but that's the season because it's like it's like wall to wall episodes that you're like, oh yeah, that one, okay, this one, yep, all right, this one, yep.
What season is Master of My Domain?
Oh, that's early. That's like
it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah, like I said, you're gonna miss some big ones. Like the Chinese restaurant one is like season 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the parking garage is way back then, but season 7 is just like everyone had kind of because there's that weird arc where it was like. It became very sitcom-y for a while because, like, Kramer would enter the door and the fucking audience would go nuts. And then, like, it happened every time he came in. And it was just like, stop this shit. Like, just stop, like, whooping every time he came in. It's not fucking Married with Children, And it's like, and then that tapered off into just kind of being like, it has a more, like, I think they must just remove the audience because it's like, it has much more of a film quality because they're doing, like, a lot of parodies by then and stuff that's, like, much more edited and less sitcom-y, a lot more on the street stuff, so I think they just, like, remove the studio audience because, like, this is getting out of hand. Like, people just whooping when people walk into the room and it's like, they were just in the other scene, I know, maybe you didn't film it in order, but it's just weird. But anyway. Yeah, I because BJ returned the Blu-ray. Strangely enough, it popped in my head. I bought a 4K copy of Across the Universe because I still love that movie, and I kind of love that movie more like every time I see it. But there was a recent like digital sale on some like a pretty good selection. Like I got Pan's Labyrinth in 4K for $5 and some other good stuff. But yeah, I was just like, oh shit, yeah. That I was wondering like movies like that are the ones where I'm like. I know they always go for like, here's the things we will always release on whatever new format, but smaller movies like that, I'm like, man, I want to see a fucking Dolby Vision version of that movie because it goes places visually. And
I just brought you your DVD back last week.
I know, but I was like, yeah, upgrade,
upgrade,
and it looks really goddamn good in Dolby Vision and stuff. So. I mean, like I said, it does not offend me that people do or do not like that movie. I don't think it's perfect. The more I watch it, the less I like the Bono and even Eddie Izzard scenes, just because I think that like from a storytelling standpoint, they add nothing. It's not that I dislike any of the visuals necessarily or what's happening because I tolerate / love respectively those two people. So it's like, but it's just like that whole section is like, why is that in there? Like it did nothing, and it was like, oh shit, we got two people who agreed to be in this movie. Let's just shoehorn in some scenes. Is what it feels like because it's just like they go to a place, two songs happen, and it's like, oh well, anyway, that was wild. Back to the rest of the movie. So, yeah. But yeah, visually that movie's amazing, and it's one of those things that reiterates where it's like, wow, what like a fucking crazy, impossible career the Beatles had in 10 years, like. I defy you to like name any other like creative force that has done culturally what they did in 10 years. I mean, song wise, movie wise, I don't think anyone has ever had like such a defining career of like, find me like a god awful Beatles song, like truly, truly god awful Beatles song. Like there's plenty of them on their own when they separated, Temporary Secretary, Wonderful Christmas Time. Paul McCartney made many crimes against humanity exposed Beatles, but
correct.
But during the Beatles, it is just like when sometimes you hear those lyrics that may have been sung in a catchy pop tune taken out of context and you realize the poetry behind it. It's just like, holy shit, just like that catalog of music is just impossible. It's fucking impossible. Like it is like aliens came to this planet and were like, watch this shit, I mean, it's like if Thomas Edison actually done all the things he did instead of steal a bunch of shit. Like, if you're like this one man during his life and like done all this, that would be incredible. But time has told us that that's not really true. And hey, maybe 50 years from now we'll find out that John Lennon stole a bunch of fucking songs because nothing good ever stays good. So
Yeah.
they'll be like, yeah,
That's what
there's a reason it's so fucking impossible. Like just like Shakespeare stole his shit, or all that
Yeah.
naysaying bullshit. It's like anything you think was awesome, it's fucking shit.
Yeah, that's what happened to Led Zeppelin already.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
All you have to do
My
is just
my
get...
vote would be. No, go ahead, BJ.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just go get Jen from the other room, and she will tell you all the bad Beatles songs.
Yeah. Yeah. My only vote would be She's So Heavy because it's 45 minutes long. But that's about it.
Still a good song. I'd
It's
still
all
listen
right.
to it a lot.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all right. But
anyway,
yeah, have we reached the the end of the road here?
We have gone to the end of the road.
yeah, it's been a long time
Yeah.
getting from here to there. There to
Might
here.
as well mention Chuck has started putting together some Bond stuff for us, some extra content for the listeners.
A little light bondage for you.
Yeah.
Why didn't we name it that?
I don't know, because I was trying to be nice in my puns. No, I wasn't. I just didn't think of it
What
at
did
the
we
time.
name it instead?
I think
Quarantine
we
of
named it
Solace.
Quarantine of Solace.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, all of our second halves from, God, that was 8 years ago now, talking about all the Bond movies leading up to Skyfall. So, yeah, you might see that on the feed. Actually, you will see that on the feed, not might.
Yeah, so
You
look
will-
for
And
it.
yeah, and we're working on other stuff. Don't want to promise anything yet, but especially if you're on Patreon, you'll see some more stuff start showing up.
Yes.
Because guess what? People at home have time now. Go figure. And I don't have a life-sucking job, so I might be able to start picking them back up on some stuff I was planning way back.
Yep.
We'll
Bamfcast,
see.
Bamfcast Extra will probably continue as normal, or more to the point how it once was, where we will be watching the movie individually and doing our thing. But expect that to continue. I think the polls are going to cease just because we're going to have to kind of go with what's available on the fly somewhat.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much we're going to be able to involve that. Plus scheduling, and we don't know when we're going to be able to do this, and yada yada yada. Skip to the end.
You'll like what we do.
Sure.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, Who You Shall continue for patrons.
Yes.
And we'll be back in some form, incarnation of this. Maybe we'll figure out a way to watch our movies or bad movies that we're known for in the to do the first half thing. I don't know. I'm leaning towards just waiting till we get back to normal, because the communal experience of enjoying those, I think, is kind of paramount.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're going to continue putting out content while we're all in quarantine / Corona chaos.
It'll be quarantine content.
Quarantent.
Right.
That's a yurt where you put all your Qurans.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get out of here, shall we?
Okay.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ,
I'm Chuck.
and this is Bamfcast Out. Stay safe, everybody. All you motherfuckers.
There it is.
There it is. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks for hopping on the live stream.
Sorry, we're us.
It's too late to apologize.
Oh, sorry, we're not better by this point in doing this. It's still so very new and fresh.
Yep. All right. Man, I need to get a different room. I'm like super red in this room.
You're also
Yeah.
cutting in and out considerably.
What, video wise or sound wise?
Both.
Sound wise.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Well,
Okay.
I'll be on the hardwired computer next time. But at least the local file doesn't seem to have dropped anything. Seems to be recording pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone remember to upload your file.
Yes.
All right.
I
Do you
will.
want to do like a 3, 2, 1 stop thing, or
I don't think he cares about the end.
We'll be here
10.
for another 20 minutes.
9.
all right? Then I'm just stopping mine now.
Stop.
Anyway,
All right.
Now I shall save it.
I gotta go back and talk to Colonel Sanders and the other Matrix firm. I'll be back later.
You
All
want a
right.
wave file, right, Chuck?
Sure.
What do you want? Assigned 16-bit or 32-bit?
16.
9.
Chuck,
I would like it
Would
in
you like an-
69-bit.
would you like an OGG file?
No, please don't flack me. No flack files, please.
Don't give him no flack.
So.
All right. Good night. Anyone that's out there still, we'll try to get better at this. Mousie's back. It's gonna hover over
We
my
did
house.
pretty good.
We did all right, I guess.
Yeah. Let's wait for the reviews.
Oh man, it's exporting that motherfucking wave.
Yeah. Riding that wave.
And
of
now I'm exporting
exportation.
this wave.